I would rather be homeless than live with a narcissist again. Why? Well, living with them is like living in the deepest and the darkest dungeons of hell. Nothing feels homely in your own home. You feel you are in a jail, stuck with monsters, and you keep waiting for that day, the day of your escape. That is how I felt when I was living with my narcissistic family. And that's why we are going to talk about this topic in much more depth and detail today. I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. The topic for today's episode is 5 ways a narcissist turns your home into a living hell. Number 1, they either hoard a lot of stuff or they are obsessed with cleanliness. Let's talk about hoarding behavior first. All narcissists are addicts. There is some form of addiction associated with their narcissistic personality. You will see them addicted to supply, to attention, to money, to materialism, to anything that gives them a sense of control. So a lot of them like to buy stuff they do not need but only want. They fill the chambers, the cupboards, their bedrooms, rooms with boxes they do not need. Keep bringing more stuff into the house. And it all feels extremely cluttered. There is no space for you to even breathe. And everything is messy and disorganized. They leave it for you to clean up. They won't care about the condition and will always complain about your lack of support. Oh, you're not supporting me with stuff, but why do you need to bring this stuff in when you know we don't have enough space? Oh, you're crazy. You're always nagging me. You want to control me. You want to control my finances. I like this. I like that. I can't throw it away. Why this much clutter? Oh, I don't have the strength to clean up. Please do it for me. And now, God forbid, if you misplace a cup, if you put it on the counter instead of putting it in the sink or the dishwasher, they will rage at you. They'll berate you. Oh, you're the one keeping this house messy. You are the one who has no hygiene whatsoever. You're the one who keeps blaming me for the same thing that you do yourself. The story does not stop there. They also bring in a lot of animals. Now, this is not applicable to all sorts of narcissists. Some like to get multiple dogs, many cats, guinea pigs. You think it, they can get it. Why? Because they need what is called animalistic supply. That sounds crazy, doesn't it? But they need supply from these sentient beings who don't judge people on the basis of their color, their money, or other things. They love unconditionally, and that is what the narcissist wants. They also need sadistic supply to torture them and have nobody hold them accountable. Because of their hoarding behavior, the house may always stink and children may suffer. You need organization as a child in your environment. That keeps your brain organized. If your house is filled with trash, your life will feel trashy. As a trauma response, you may become obsessed with cleanliness and organization in your adulthood, which is an entirely different thing than what we are about to discuss in a moment. Now, let's talk about the other end of the spectrum, their obsession with cleanliness. They're crazy. Like they want the house to be squeaky clean. It almost manifests itself as obsessive compulsive disorder, but it's not that, although there is a good chance that it may be a comorbidity with narcissistic personality disorder. But this obsession is a manifestation of their absolute lack of control over their life. So they pretend to be minimalistic, but it's not true minimalism. Because when we talk about minimalism, it's about only keep what you need. Don't get extra. But when a narcissist pretends to be a minimalist, they destroy everything that they do not need. The emphasis is on the word they, that they do not need. They don't care about how expensive it is, how you got it, if you need it, if you love it. They don't care about your connection with the thing. They destroy, they throw away. And they do it non-consensually. Oh, that was taking too much space. Oh, you should have asked me first. Oh, this is my house. I will set the rules, and you can't get stuff into this house without my permission. This type of a narcissist will not let you have any pets, and if you get any, that poor thing will be abused. Number two, there is this dense evil energy in the house all the time. It feels as if the air is heavy. If you have experienced it, you know what I'm talking about, and share your experiences in the comments below. Whenever you enter that house, you feel there are Draculas within, as if it's a place where vampires live. There's darkness all around. You can't even breathe. Almost instantly, your mood shifts. You were happy, now all of a sudden you're sad. You don't know. Yes, there is a psychological explanation to it. Your house, that home, is associated with trauma, and that naturally shifts your psychological state. But there is this spiritual explanation to this as well. I have always associated narcissism with demonic forces, evil energy. And I believe that plays a huge role in all of this. That's why there is so much density. That's why there is so much heaviness. That's why nothing feels okay. You can't rest in that house. There is no peace. No matter where you go, that energy seems to follow you. The crazy thing, you have nightmares when you are in that house. Stuff chasing you, like demonic things, spirits. What can I tell you? I used to have non-epileptic or pseudo seizures in my sleep, and then somebody would sit on my chest almost every single day. I would freeze and then would feel someone or something is sleeping behind me. Maybe it was a psychological thing because it completely vanished once I left. Maybe there was a spiritual aspect to it. Who knows? I believe it was both. Before I move to number three, I want to share a free yet a powerful resource with you, a guide that answers top 10 questions asked by every single survivor of narcissistic abuse. If you want to download it right now and gain clarity, click the link in the description of this episode or click the I button above. Number three, there is a deep sense of loneliness in that house because everybody is performing. You're not your true self. You're not connecting with anybody else. There are narcissists, and then there are scapegoats. There are black sheeps in the same family. There are golden children. It's a mess. It's a narcissistic cult. So whenever you interact with them, you put on a mask behind which you hide your authentic self. You may smile, you may look happy, but deep down you feel lonely. That is how I felt all the time. Loneliness was my only and constant companion. And I would try my best to always run to my room, because it never felt safe with the family. They would either belittle, shame, humiliate, abuse physically, emotionally, and psychologically, or do something else. There was no true communication, heart to heart communication. There was always judgment. In such an environment, how can you flourish, especially as a child? How can you thrive? How can you feel safe to connect? You don't. And that's why you feel isolated. One more thing, people don't visit you. There are no guests coming in. Nobody wants to be around those narcissistic people because, yes, they pretend to be a good family, but close ones know who they are for real. That's what happened with us. Nobody used to visit us because my father was seen as a monster. He would get really angry, show passive aggression when somebody would visit us or stay for a night or so. Eventually, people stopped, and that is what led to more loneliness. Number four, the atmosphere of your home is filled with absolute terror. Nothing feels homely. You stay hyper attuned and hyper focused on the different things. You can detect their mood from the way they're walking, their footsteps. You observe small things like their facial expressions to know what mood they are in. You become an emotional thermometer, don't you? You always try to know what is coming for you. because there is always something going on. Such a house never sees peace. Celebrations, what are those? There are no birthdays celebrated because on every single occasion something bad happens. I am telling you my story. We never celebrated anything because we knew something horrible is going to happen and our parents are going to fight just on the eve of something. They never disappointed us. So that house becomes a horror house, a dead house. There is nothing but demonic energy, which you absorb as terror. You never feel any peace. You cannot relax. You cannot deeply breathe. Even when you're distracted, let's say there are headphones on your ears, you're still listening. That's why it has become so difficult for you to sleep, because small, small sounds wake you up. Hyperactivation of the nervous system. That's what it is called. Number 5, and the last one, financial instability. Now, this is something that you may not experience, but a narcissist, whether rich or poor, always creates financial trouble. If there's a lot of money and you depend on them financially, you will be made to suffer. They will make you beg for pennies. If you earn and they think they should get half or more of your salary, then there will be fights. Every single month, we used to go through the same pattern, the same story, and they would fight over the portions. My mother used to earn this much, my father a little more. My father would always dictate how much she would contribute, and how much she actually wanted to contribute was different. So no compromise there, no respect, no mutual understanding, nothing at all. If you depend on them, they will interrogate you. They will always want to know why you spent that amount of money when you could have spent lesser. You are belittled and harassed for meeting your basic needs. That is how it is. And you always hope for financial stability, which unfortunately never comes. Money is their actual God. That is what they like to hoard. That is what they like to count. That is what they like to smell. That is what they like to store. That is what they like to hide. So that was number 5. I hope you found this episode helpful. If you did, please share it with others and help them make sense of that senselessness. I'll talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.